Every Wednesday around this time, we get our Diamond Notes from our good friend, Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich. Coach Bakich, good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for joining us, Coach. Well, it worked out. It worked out like we knew it would, Coach. It's one of those things where you face your old team, you say, hey, it's good to see you guys. Wish you well when you aren't playing us. And you took it out on them on the baseball field. You took that series from Maryland last week. That first game postponed, but you go into Saturday in that doubleheader, and you split that day, and then you win the series on Sunday. So let's start with game one and talk about a first-time starter, Coach. What was it that made you go with Mr. Cronenworth in there?
Well, we didn't even get to Cronenworth in our closer role last weekend or the weekend before against Nebraska, and he's got the most he's one of the most electric pitchers in the country, and we could only use him for an inning, and we just felt like after that bad start against Nebraska, we were up against the wall, we were on the ropes, we needed to change things up. That combined with Keith Lehman's been out with a little forearm strain, and Evan Hill has still been out, so that's two starters for us, and that have been out, and we just, we needed to mix it up a little bit, and figured Croney could, we knew he wasn't going to go a complete game, but if he could give us a quality start, which he did, then we'd have a chance to be in the game to win it, which we were.
Yeah, boy, did he, Coach. 5 innings, career high, 9 strikeouts. That's pretty doggone good for your first start.
Well, he attacks the strike zone, Sam. I mean, the guy's got 3 pitches, fastball, slider, split, and he feels really good about all 3 of them in any count. And his command is plus. And when he's got 3 pitches that he can throw in there and attack the zone the way he does with a bunch of quality pitches, then that allows him to have some quick innings and allows him to be able to go into those middle innings there. While only throwing maybe 60 or 70 pitches.
Well, it didn't go so well at the plate for you guys. Now that was not a sign of things to come, as you guys really found your way. But in that game, was it just great pitching? Was it more on you guys? As in that contest, they were able to come out on top. The Terps were 3-1.
Yeah, you hate to give too much credit to the opposition, if you don't have to, but you have to tip the cap to their pitcher, Mike Swearin. He is one of the best pitchers in the country. He's been phenomenal for Maryland for the last 2 years. He won he had double-digit wins as a pitcher last year in his All-American season. He's off to another All-American type season. I think he's undefeated for them. So they're undefeated when he's on the mound. And he's really good. I mean, he'll be a first-rounder next year. He's a sophomore this year. He's one of the best in the country, and he is for a reason. He throws everything, it seems like it's at the knees. He's throwing slider and change, and he's just got really good stuff. And it was one of those guys where we wanted our best bolt against their best bolt, so Cronenworth versus Swearin. We had our opportunities. We had, there were 2 different innings where we had runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and we just didn't get that big hit, to take the lead. But certainly proud of our guys, the way they responded in the middle of that doubleheader to come out and game 2.
All right, so doubleheader, Coach. You have a guy who goes out, gives you a quality start in his first start with 9 strikeouts. Then he comes back in the second half of the doubleheader, and all he does is get 5 RBIs, Coach. Cronenworth was just huge for you that day.
Yeah, he was huge. He's done a really nice job all season consistently in that leadoff spot, stringing together one quality at bat after the next. And, when we can get the bottom of the order on base in front of him, then he's going to have a chance to drive in some runs. And fortunately for us, the guys at the bottom of the lineup were able to get on base. He was able to drive him in. But normally he's kind of the tone setter as far as the guy that sets the table for the guys behind him. And in this game in particular, he had guys on for him, and he drove them in, so that was great to see.
Yeah, he did. He gave you a bomb, and you guys wind up in that contest really flipping it around on them and winning 10-1. And Ryan Utoff in this contest, boy, man, he really gave you. You talk about quality starts, Coach, for a young guy. That's especially quality.
Yeah, he's a special kid. He's not scared. He's fearless on the mound. He's tough on the mound. You know, he's got 4 pitches that he throws in there for strikes, and he attacks the zone with a bunch of quality pitches as well. And he's been very consistent, you know, and that's the one thing. Even when he has had some bad innings or innings that go sideways on him, he has the poise, which is unique for a freshman to be able to keep his cool out there to still put up zeros in the following innings. And he's able to withstand some adversity out there, which is usually kind of a learned trait. As you get older, you get better at it in college athletics. But he's been very good at being able to take a punch on the mound metaphorically as a freshman, and he's been great for us, and he'll continue to do so.
We're talking to Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. So the key is, you know, to close it out. You came back from that first game defeat and exploded on them in the second game. Well, Coach, it really feels like kind of a carryover into game number 3 because you jumped on them early, and that turned out to be enough as you got 5 early runs and went on to win the game 5-2.
Yeah, you know, the big inning has been a little bit of our calling card these last few games with, you know, the 2-run home run that Cronenworth hit in game 2 of the doubleheader, to the 8-spot inning we put up in that second game, to jumping on Maryland in game 3 in the rubber match game, 5 runs in the first inning. You know, and that's been something that we've talked about, having big innings and stringing quality at-bats together. When you have a bunch of quality at-bats in a row, you've got a chance to score multiple runs. And our guys have done a nice job of that, and they've done a nice job of hitting with 2 outs or clearing the bases, you know, when we got bases loaded. I mean, that's hard to do when you got bases loaded, to clear the bases, and we did it twice in back-to-back games with Cronenworth's triple in game 2 and Kyle Juszyk's double in game 3. And that's a little bit of a demoralizing hit when you're the opposition, and all of a sudden it's a merry-go-round out there, and the other team has all the momentum. So it was huge. Those are some huge hits, and allowed us to really take a lead that we wouldn't relinquish at that point.
Yeah, I mean, one of the consistent things, we're going to talk about another player, Coach. I just got to mention it one more time. So Cronenworth gets you 9 strikeouts in game 1. You talk about the big hit, get you a bomb, get you a triple in there. The next, and then, Coach, you look at the last game, he gets you a bunt single. The guy, he just does it all on the field for you. But I wanted to get your take on Brett Adcock, because it looks like he got into a little trouble in the first inning, but then came back to strike out the side.
Yeah, you know, that's Brett has been struggling with that a little bit, and it's nothing mechanical. He just he starts thinking a little bit about his mechanics, which when you're in competition mode and it's me versus you out there on the mound, you certainly don't want to be thinking about your mechanics in any sport. And so he got himself into trouble. He walked the bases loaded, but then he did a really good job of just checking himself out there and dialing in and just getting back to competing against the hitter and not thinking about his mechanics, just getting into a trusting mode, you know, his preparation, knowing his teammates behind him have his back, and then he strikes out the side. So that was a big deal, because if we allow multiple runs in that inning, and now all of a sudden we're playing from behind, that's tough to do. We had to do that the first 2 games at Nebraska, and that's not easy to do. So we were able to flip that. We used that momentum of striking out the side with the bases loaded, and that carried us into that 5 spot in the first inning. So, Brett's got great stuff. He's going to continue to throw on the weekends for us. And once he gets back to being a guy that consistently pounds the strike zone, he's hard to hit. And his only times he's given up runs is when we've issued free passes. But when he's attacking the zone, he's one of the nation's best.
Yeah, and Coach, and then you get a couple of freshmen in there, and they go out there and they keep Maryland off the board and shut them out down the stretch. And there were 2 freshmen that you did it with.
Yeah, tribute to all of our freshman pitchers. I mean, we're running 5 freshman arms out there, and
That's
every
big time.
single one of those guys have made a lot of quality pitches in some big moments. I mean, it's not like the freshmen are getting just some experience when the game's out of hand. These freshmen are getting they're getting game on the line type experience, which is extremely invaluable, not only for later this season but for their future as well. So, yeah, we're really proud of how the freshmen have developed on the mound and how they've contributed positively to the team.
All right, so then, Coach, you're back on the field or the Wilpon Complex yesterday versus Toledo, and again, folks, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but Cronenworth gets you off to a good start again.
Yeah, that was the first time this year where it was led off the game with a home run, and he and Cody Bruder were just kind of dialed in. The very first pitch of the game, Matt Ogden throws in there. The Toledo hitter hits it's an 0-0 count, and the guy hits a line drive to left field, and Cody Bruder comes out of nowhere to make a diving catch. And then we put a 0 up in that inning and get to the bottom of the frame in the bottom of the first, and Cronenworth sets the tone with a leadoff home run, line drive over the right field fence. So that was huge. And then let's see, Jackson Glines, I believe, walks. Carmen Benedetti doubles, hits him in, and then Cody Bruder comes up and hits a 2-run jack well over the left field wall. Just an absolute bomb. For a 4-spot first inning. So, exclamation mark, big inning, set the tone. Tough to play when you're playing, from behind. And then we didn't stop there. We put up 2 more runs in the second inning, and we're able to hold on to that 6-run lead. I would have liked to see us, keep the pedal down a little bit more. We had some zeros on the board the 3rd through the 7th innings, but you credit the other team for minimizing the further damage. But it was still the way we started that game. You just knew that we weren't going to give up that lead.
As it stands, the Wolverines went on to win 7-3, their 3rd straight victory, and now look to carry that momentum over into today versus Central Michigan. We're talking to Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. So, Coach, you have Central Michigan today. Then you hit the road for a series down in Bloomington taking on Indiana. Kind of tell us about those opponents. Central Michigan first, what do they bring to the table? And then the Hoosiers.
Well, Central Michigan, they're probably the best team in the MAC conference. They're 18-10. They're in first place in the MAC with 5-1 league record. So we just look at it as, it's going to be another challenge of a quality opponent. We've got them at home, and they're playing pretty well right now. They're coming off a weekend sweep of Miami of Ohio, and so they've got some confidence. They've got a decent record. They're 18-10. They're well coached. That coach has been there a long time. So they're gonna give us everything that they got, but our mentality is our backs are still against the wall. We're still up against the ropes, and we're going to give them everything we got as well.
And then the Hoosiers, Coach?
Yeah, the Hoosiers are kind of the storied program of the Big Ten for the last 2 years, coming off their Omaha run in 2013 and national seed and conference championship last year, and they've lost a lot of their sluggers and star power and Friday night starter and a lot of those big names of the last 2 years. Those guys have moved on to professional baseball, but they're still a great team. They just beat Kentucky last night. They had a setback last weekend. They got swept in conference play at Iowa. So they've mostly had a good season, but they've had some hiccups along the way. But they have had some quality weekend series wins against Stanford, against Cal State Fullerton. They play well at home, and they come into league play with a 1-4 record, and we're coming in as well with a 2-4 league record after the slow start because of Nebraska. So, for both teams, this is a huge weekend. This is a weekend that we're going into knowing that we're gonna focus on playing our best baseball. And fortunately for us, we're a little bit healthier. It looks like Travis Mazies is going to be back in the lineup, which is a huge boost to our offense. and we feel good. We feel like we're starting to fire on all cylinders here going into this weekend. So that's why today's game is so important against Central Michigan to keep that momentum going.
Great stuff, Coach. One quick question that came from the phone before we let you go. Evan Hill's status. You got an update on where things stand with him?
Yep, he is. So everyone knows he's rehabbing a knee injury, and he has to complete some protocol, passing an agility test with the doctors before he can return to action. That agility test is going to take place tomorrow. And if all goes well, then he could return to action hopefully sometime within the next week. If he needs to take another agility test, then his return, will be a couple of weeks. But either way, Evan Hill is going to be back competing for Michigan, I would say, within the next couple of weeks. So we're certainly excited about that. He's excited about that. And he's ready. He's chomping at the bit, as you could imagine.
Yeah, well, great stuff. Great news, Coach, and great stuff as always. Appreciate you taking so much time with us this morning to break things down. Good luck today and this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Awesome, Sam. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks a lot. That was Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich.